What's up guys, so we're back from America and we're back from the sunshine and back into snow. Snow when we get back. Today I'm gonna film a video. Say you've had some time off, you've had an injury, or you've been away like I have and you everything's been thrown out of whack. Or maybe you're just starting out in the gym, maybe you're a beginner. This is also gonna be a great beginner routine for you to be able to go in and start learning about exercises and mixing things up from body weight to weighted. This is going to be the way you get back into training to get the blood flowing, get the muscles moving, get those mind to muscle connections firing again, but reducing the risk of injury. The worst thing you can do if you've had time off is, it's a great thing to have the mentality to want to go back in, but if you do that, if you go straight back in, you have to remember that you got to that peak prior to stopping because you were consistent. And then if you have a break and then go and try to go back into the high end of that consistency, chances are your body's not going to be primed for it and stuff is going to get tweaked, it's going to pull, and you're going to just increase that risk of injury. So it's going to do you no harm. In fact, it's going to do you a benefit in doing some full body workouts. And that's what I'm going to take you through today. It's going to include some functional movements, it's going to include body weight movements and weighted movements. We're going to go through each exercise individually. I'm going to tell why they're good, why we're doing them, how many sets, how many reps, and then you can literally take it, go, use it, get yourself feeling nice and loosey-goosey again. Movement. Because the worst thing you can do is go in and just be tunnel visioned. You want to keep those boundaries spread nice and wide. Just spilt my tea. Roxy, get the tea. Useless. Might be wondering what all these cardboard boxes are in my way. A quick look, and I'm going to do this a full food haul review, but this is our muscle food delivery we tend to get once a week. So this is more like what we do in terms of supplementation, is we eat more things than we drink more things. But I'm getting back onto my Pro Weighteen. There you go, there's a new name for a shitty brand. New Pro Weighteen 4000. Super big. I'm getting back onto using shakes again to bulk up my protein because I have a bad habit of sitting on my ass and not eating enough. So shakes come into play when that happens. Meals are ready cooked meals, so for lazy man meals, stick them in the microwave. Then we have like the treats like brownies, and then there's other stuff in here like egg whites, meat, and all those things. So I'll go through those in depth in another video, and that'll be to do with my maintenance diet, which will be for the new series, which is going your way soon. Right. Back to what we're talking about. So we're going to spin to the gym. Ready? 3, 2, 1. My face is on fire. I haven't taken pre-workout for a while, and I just took some of the EHP RPM before I came, and I forgot it has B-Trelin in it, and now my face is a tingle. Anyway, we're here at the gym, and you can see it's snowing, it's cold. I'm wrapped up. This is something I want to talk to you about. I see guys going to the gym all the time, and no matter what the weather, cold, hot, whatever, they come straight in, top off, into a vest. It's the daftest thing you can do. Don't feel like it's an ego competition when you come to the gym. Wear what you feel comfortable. If you want to train in a hoodie the entire time, stay in your hoodie. Don't feel pressured into taking it off. Just the same, don't feel pressured into stripping down to try and show off to other people. Trust me, nobody else in the gym cares. Well, nobody else worth their time cares. They're too busy sorting themselves out. I don't look around or judge anyone else in the gym at the same time. So when you come in, stay wrapped up and stay warm. That way you're going to protect the joints. You can actually get the blood into the muscles faster and keep it there. You're going to keep yourself healthier for longer simply by letting your body warm up properly. So that's also going to include warming up through dynamic motions. I'll link it in the description below for you, so you can go and check those out. That's the shoulder routine warm-ups and everything that will help prevent injuries alongside this, staying wrapped up. So for the first few sets, keep your layers on until you feel warm, until you even get a slight sweat going. Then you can start delayering if you need to. But if you feel comfortable, if you feel good with the layers on, keep them on. It ain't an ego show. With that being said, it's got to be warmer in there than it is out here. So. Voiceover Lex checking in because it was cold in the gym, so we just wanted to keep moving and keep filming. So I've got, what the hell? I've got the notes from all the exercises we did. We're going to go through them now. Everything you need to know for each exercise, plus some bad points that you'll often see people do. Starting with body weight, moving into weights. So this routine starts with body weight, and we start with the pull-ups. Hand position is one of the main things people get wrong with this. Too many people try to go too wide. If you're not 6'4", you don't need to be grabbing the edges of the handles. Just go as wide as feels comfortable. Next, elbow rotation. Your elbows need to be rotated outward. Come back to me a sec. So what I'm talking about here is a lot of people will tend to roll their elbows in and end up lifting like this. What we want to do is roll the elbows out, and then as we pull the body up, think about doing a double bicep.
Rather than being here, you would roll the elbows out to show the biceps more. Try and do the same thing as you pull up. This will help the lats to expand, and it'll stop those scapulars from being a little bit impinged or holding in. It'll make them move through a full range of rotation. Back to the video. So once you've got that locked down, another problem can be overarching of the lower back. You can avoid this by doing your pull-ups with straight legs. So engage your core and just pull with straight legs, and this will help you develop a better habit. There's no problem with putting an arch in your lower back, it just needs to be controlled. So overall, remember, control, hand position, elbow rotation, straight legs if you need it, no jerky motions, and make sure you're activating the muscle. Unlike this.
You can do it, put your back into it. I can do it, put your ass into it.
Next up, we've got a chest and tricep activator, which is a press up variation. Here you're going to use a medicine ball, and you're going to do a press up into a close grip press up. So we're hitting the chest and the triceps. For this one, we're going to call it from chin to chest. So the medicine ball on the floor, you want to touch your chin to the medicine ball for your press up. Then what you're going to do is walk onto the ball from the press up position, rolling forward on the toes as you come down in to do a close grip press up before going back into the starting press up position and repeating the process. This may feel a little bit alien, but the rolling forward on the toes is actually a really nice way of creating an angle on the tricep press up part of the exercise. Just like when we're doing triceps on the cables, we try to keep an angle on the arm. This is what we get from doing it this way. It should feel like a really nice natural range of motion and should also allow you to move backwards into the press up position relatively easily. So moving into some lower body activation, lunges are a great exercise. Very simple, a step through, keeping your body upright, dropping the back knee down. Try to avoid touching the floor with the back knee if necessary, but then bring the feet close together as you come through before restarting the next rep. Things to avoid on this lunge would be to be leaning forward, letting the knees buckle inward, or just moving through from one lunge into the next without having that pause in between to reset and re-engage the muscles. Finally, dips, and yes, this is a piece of wood that you're looking at. Why? Because sometimes these machines are a little bit high, and to reduce injury risk, stepping up onto something to get yourself into the machine is way safer. Moving into the dip motion, what you'll notice here is my feet are forward, chest is up. The reason I'm doing this is this helps bring focus onto the chest. A lot of people tend to do it with the feet behind them, but what that actually does is end up stressing the shoulders. One major rule here is to try to not go past parallel. Depth does not mean more range of motion on the chest. What it does mean is stress on the shoulders, tendons, and ligaments. So avoid jumping straight into the exercises, feet behind, jerky motions, and going too deep when you don't need to. Much like this.
And down.
And get down.
And down.
Now we're moving on to the weighted exercises, starting with a nice compound with the bench press. One on this is hand position. Again, don't go too wide. Here you can see I'm just a thumb's distance away from the beginning of that grip. Little fingers should be on the edge of the bar marking at most, but often you'll find that holding it a little bit closer is more comfortable. Body posture on this is vitally important. You want to have your scapula engaged, you want your feet solid and planted and a little bit behind the knees if possible, because you're going to be driving through your feet. You want an arch in your lower back and you want your lats to be engaged. Starting with a slightly lighter weight, you're going to do some pause reps, just holding at the base and then driving through the palms. You're going to increment up the weight if needed, or you can stay the same if it's enough, but only go up by small amounts, say 5 kilograms, around 10 pounds at a time. Don't jump too quickly. One thing you need to check is to make sure that the bars are balanced, and that means checking that the ends are tight. Getting racked and re-racked all the time, these bars can become loose, and it's just something to keep an eye on. As you get heavier, you can reduce the amount of pause that you put at the bottom and just do a slower negative. As the muscles overload, the ability to maintain control of the body is going to become more difficult. So pausing at the bottom can often cause you to become out of balance. So maintaining the body posture, drive through your feet, squeeze the glutes if you need to, if you find that your hips are moving around, and extend without dipping the chest and keeping the shoulders back. Things to avoid: not setting your posture properly and just jumping into the exercise. Literally. Happy feet, make sure that your feet are planted. If they're squirreling around, you don't have control. Dipping of the chest, overextending with the shoulders. Neither of these things are good. Failure comes when you are unable to lift with good technique, not when you're unable to lift the weight. So avoid the wibbly wobbly lifts. Moving on to dumbbell flies. Posture for this is exactly like the bench, from the feet to the shoulders. Getting the dumbbells up, kick them off the knees, and then lie back in a controlled manner. The tricks here are to keep the back head of the dumbbell up. Reduce the shoulder stress with a slight twist out as you go down on the negative, returning it to a central position on the positive. This is only if you have shoulder issues though, or feel stress on the shoulders. You can keep the dumbbell straight on, just remember to keep that back head up. Do not overstretch and only go as low as you could go with a bar. Also watch for your weak side releasing early at the top compared to your strong side. This can lead to an imbalance. So make sure that you are setting your posture properly, not overstretching or overextending, or faffing around with any unnecessary rotation. Next up, hitting the back with some seated rows. Posture setting is one of the most important things on here, making sure to drive out with the legs and arms at full extension, so you're not rounding the back. This is going to be really important for setting up the start of the movement. At the top of the rep, you want to engage the scapula, keep your chest up, pull from your elbows and not the hands. This is going to help engage the back more and help you feel it. This is also going to help with the mind to muscle connection. Make sure you squeeze at the top with your chest up and pulling your elbows through, then release to a full arm extension before following through with the body. Don't do both at the same time. Making sure to keep your back neutral and not rounding off. Put the weights back down by releasing at the legs, not rounding at the back. So avoid rounding the back to get that extra stretch. Overextending on the positive to get those added gains. And releasing the stack by releasing your spine. Onto the final back motion, and that's the lat pull down. Here the hand positioning is going to be the same as the pull-ups, so don't go too wide. We're going to be pulling to the front, and you want to keep your chest up with a slight core engagement so that the rib cage isn't allowed to raise excessively. Engage your scapula and roll the elbows out. Throughout the movement, you want to be pulling from your elbows, squeezing at the bottom of the rep, and on the negative, don't allow the shoulders to raise. Release from the elbows to full extension. Remember to keep rolling out on the contraction as if you were doing the double biceps like we talked about before. This is really going to help engage the lats and activate as much muscle as possible. Everything that we don't want to see: high shoulders on the negative, chest dipping on the positive, swinging because that damn stack is too heavy, and trying to put the weights down from the contraction point. Moving on to one of my favorite functional movements, and that is the bicep curl into an Arnold press. What we want to look for here is to maintain a good body posture, engaging the scapula, chest up, core engaged. We're going to do a bicep curl, keeping the elbows fixed. Then we're going to roll out into a shoulder press. This is one fluid movement, but you want to make sure that you're getting a full range of motion. Curling the dumbbells up towards the face, then rolling the elbows out and going into an overhead standing dumbbell press. On the negative, coming down nice and wide, bringing the elbows round to the front, and then a full extension back down to the start position to begin the bicep curls again. So since we're looking for full body simulation from this routine, this is a fantastic exercise for helping to improve your posture, core control, and gives you a nice little pump on the biceps. But that's not to say that you can't do this wrong. We want to avoid pigeon necking, elbows moving backwards, not extending the arms fully on the bicep curl, swinging through the motion rather than controlling it, an uneven overhead press, releasing the core, not rotating out fully, often leading to a less than safe dismount. So kicking is lower body stimulation with an assisted front squat. Assisted because this allows for concentration of your posture with a reduced risk of collapse. One thing we want to avoid though is squishy shoes, so don't wear running shoes whilst doing legs generally. Starting from the feet up, setting the posture, we want to look at feet and positioning. We want them hip width apart and toes slightly out. Knees are going to be rolled outwards. So think about twisting the floor with your feet, but your feet won't move, and as a result, your knees roll out. Next up, hips and glutes. You want to be squeezing the glutes at the top of the rep and controlling those hips. Engage the lats. If your back's contracted, it helps keep your spine neutral and helps keep your posture in check. Your body wants to remain upright with your chest up. Then allow the knees to move forward and the hips to move down and a little bit backwards if needed, but don't just move the hips back. You should be moving through a natural sitting movement. If you let the hips move back and you don't move down, you're doing it wrong. So what we don't want to see is a fear of depth by becoming a hip humping hipster. Just Just because it's assisted doesn't mean ego lifting helps. Avoid heavy lifting and partial reps. And last but not least, some straight leg deadlifts. Picking the bar up with a deadlift motion to reduce the risk of any twinges. Make sure that you engage your scapula, keep your chest up. Then you're going to move backwards from the hips, keeping the bar close to the legs at all times. If the bar swings away from the legs, you need to reset. You're going to keep the weight in the heels as you extend the hips backwards. You should feel a stretch in the hamstrings. Then you're going to keep the weight in the heels, drive back up through the hips and the heels at the same time, maintaining the tension from the stretch. To help keep the back neutral, take a deep breath in and hold it as if someone's going to punch you in the gut. This will help keep your spine neutral and help you stop rounding off. So taking a look at what we don't want to see is rounding of the back on the pickup, swinging away from the legs on the negative, and hyperextending on the positive. All of these things can lead to no gains, plenty of pains. So there you have it, a good full body workout that you can utilize if you've had some time off the gym or if you're new to the gym. A lot of things we explained here can help you develop a good motor pathway and good habits from the get-go. Like I said, these full body exercises don't have to be isolated to every single muscle group. It's just a good overall stimulation for the body to help it get the blood flow, joints moving, muscle stimulated, and get you back into that consistent routine. If you've liked this video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Comment below with any questions that you have. I do always make an effort to read all the comments and I will answer them. Guys, if you see a question in the comment section that you know the answer to, don't be afraid to answer it. That's what this whole thing's about, building that community, building that crew. Until the next video, I've been Lex, you've been you. I'll catch you in the next one. I'm out.